Point 1. Looking for a reason in our pain can make us mentally tougher. Viktor E. Frankl, a psychiatrist and survivor of the Holocaust, shares some profound insights about human resilience in the face of extreme suffering. One of his key observations is that finding meaning in suffering can actually make us mentally stronger. Let's delve a bit deeper into this idea. Frankl noticed that those who could find a sense of purpose or meaning in their suffering were more likely to survive the harsh conditions of the concentration camps. This wasn't just a fleeting sense of purpose, but a deep, existential understanding of their place in the world and the importance of their life and experiences. For example, Frankl talks about how prisoners coped with their terrible circumstances by dreaming vividly about the future. They would imagine a time when their suffering would end, and this gave them the strength to endure their current hardships. This wasn't just a way to escape reality, but a powerful mental tool that helped them keep their mental strength. Frankl also noticed a drastic shift in the prisoners' priorities. Small desires and pleasures that didn't help their survival became unimportant. Instead, they focused on deeper aspects of life, like politics and religion. This change in focus wasn't a sign of weakness or giving up, but a testament to the human spirit's ability to adapt and find strength in adversity. Religion was particularly important for many prisoners' survival. It gave them a way to understand their suffering and find meaning in it. This spiritual strength often proved to be stronger than physical strength, helping them withstand even the most brutal torture. According to Frankl, love was another key factor in the will to survive. Knowing that there was someone waiting for them, someone they loved and who loved them back, gave the prisoners a reason to endure their suffering. Love, in this context, wasn't just a feeling but a powerful force that could rival even the fear of death. Memories also played a crucial role in the prisoners' survival. Remembering happier times gave them a mental escape from their grim reality. It also helped them appreciate the beauty and joy in life, which they might have overlooked before their imprisonment. This heightened appreciation for life's simple pleasures, Frankl suggests, is another way in which suffering can strengthen the mind. In conclusion, Frankl's insights teach us that suffering, while undoubtedly painful and difficult, can also be a catalyst for personal growth and mental strength. By finding meaning in our suffering, we can develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world, which can help us face life's challenges with more resilience and courage. Point 2. No matter how bad things get, we can always bounce back. Viktor E. Frankl, a psychiatrist and a survivor of the Nazi concentration camps during World War II, shares a powerful message in his writings: there is no amount of suffering that we cannot overcome. This idea, rooted in his belief in the unyielding strength of the human spirit, is a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. Let's unpack this idea a bit. Frankl, during his time in the concentration camps, saw firsthand the immense physical suffering of his fellow prisoners. But it wasn't just the physical pain that was devastating. The mental and emotional torment was often what broke people down. Yet, Frankl noticed something remarkable. Those who could find a purpose or meaning in their suffering were able to bear it. Take, for example, the story of a fellow prisoner who had a dream that the war would end on a certain date. This belief gave him the strength to endure the brutal conditions of the camp. But when the war didn't end on that date, the man lost his will to live and soon passed away. This story shows that it wasn't the physical suffering that took the man's life, but the loss of hope and meaning. Frankl's writings suggest that suffering is a part of life we can't avoid. But how we respond to that suffering, that's what defines us. He believed that we have the power to find meaning in our suffering, and that this can give us the strength to bear it. This doesn't mean that suffering is good or something we should seek out. But it does mean that if we can find a purpose in it, we can endure and overcome it. Frankl himself found purpose in his suffering by using his skills as a psychiatrist to help his fellow prisoners deal with their despair. He also clung to the hope of seeing his wife again, which gave him the strength to survive. In a nutshell, Frankl's message, "There is no amount of suffering that we cannot overcome," is a testament to the power of the human spirit. It's a call to find meaning in our suffering, to use it as a springboard for growth and transformation, and to never lose hope, no matter how bleak the situation. It's a reminder that we have the power to choose how we respond to suffering, and in doing so, we can find the strength to overcome it. Point 3. We're always trying to find a deeper purpose in life, wanting more than what we were given at birth. In Viktor E. Frankl's exploration of the human condition, he suggests that we're always on the hunt for something more than the world we were born into. We're looking for a deeper reason for our existence, a purpose that gives our lives meaning. Sometimes, this quest can leave us feeling frustrated. Frankl calls this existential frustration. It's like trying to solve a tricky puzzle, but the pieces just don't seem to fit. This can leave us feeling lost and confused. This frustration can sometimes lead to a state of mental distress that Frankl calls noogenic neuroses. This term comes from the Greek word noos, which means mind. It's the kind of distress you feel when you can't find a satisfying answer to the question of what life's all about. It's like being a ship lost at sea, with no compass or map to guide you. But Frankl suggests that this constant quest for meaning isn't necessarily a bad thing. He talks about noodynamics, which is the idea of accepting this tension as a driving force in our lives. It's the fuel that keeps our life's engine running. This feeling of wanting more, of not being satisfied, is what pushes us to strive for better, to achieve more. It's the physical form of our will to meaning. However, there are times when this quest for meaning can leave us feeling empty and alone. Frankl calls this the existential vacuum. It's a state where life seems to have no purpose, leading to feelings of boredom, aggression, depression, and even addiction. It's like being stuck in a dark tunnel with no light at the end, a state that can often lead to thoughts of suicide. In times like these, Frankl suggests a solution: logotherapy. This is a type of therapy that focuses on helping people find a sense of purpose in their lives. It's like a guiding light that can help fill the existential vacuum and steer people away from destructive habits. To put this in a real-world context, think about the Jewish people during the Holocaust. On September 15, 1935, the Nuremberg laws were passed. These laws excluded Jews from public life, took away their citizenship, and denied them the right to marry Germans. This was a time of extreme existential crisis, where finding meaning became a matter of survival. Frankl's work, then, is more than just a philosophical exploration. It's a practical guide to finding meaning in the face of adversity. Point 4. What makes life meaningful is different for everyone. Viktor E. Frankl's work delves deep into the heart of what it means to be human and our individual journeys to find purpose. The idea that each of us finds a different meaning in life is a key theme, and it's deeply tied to Frankl's unique approach to therapy, called logotherapy. Logotherapy is a type of therapy that focuses on our ability to find meaning in life, even when things are really tough. It's built on the idea that our main drive in life is to find meaning, and that this meaning is different for everyone. This means that what gives your life purpose and importance is different from what gives my life purpose, and it's up to each of us to figure out what that is. Frankl suggests 3 ways we can find meaning in life. 1. Through work or doing something. This is about the things we do, the goals we achieve, or the ways we make a difference in the world. For example, Frankl found meaning by writing his book while he was in a Nazi concentration camp. Despite his terrible situation, creating something gave his life purpose. 2. Through experiencing something or meeting someone. This is about finding meaning through our experiences with the world around us. It could be appreciating a beautiful sunset, enjoying a piece of music, or having a deep, meaningful relationship with someone else. Frankl, for instance, found comfort and purpose in his love for his wife, even when they were separated in the concentration camp. 3. Through the way we deal with unavoidable suffering, this is probably the hardest way to find meaning, but Frankl believes that even in suffering, we can find purpose. He's not saying that suffering is good or something we should want, but that when we can't avoid it, we can face it with bravery, dignity, and a sense of purpose. Frankl himself showed this when he used his experiences in the concentration camp to create logotherapy and help others find meaning in their lives. Frankl also talks about a super meaning, a kind of universal meaning of life that's there no matter what our individual situations or beliefs are. But he doesn't try to explain what this super meaning is, because he thinks it's beyond what we can understand. Instead, he encourages each of us to find our own personal meaning within the context of our own lives and experiences. In a nutshell, Frankl's logotherapy gives us the power to take control of our lives by finding our own unique purpose or meaning. This process is deeply personal and different for everyone, reflecting the idea that each of us finds a different meaning in life. Point 5. Logotherapy is a type of therapy that helps us deal with daily struggles. Viktor E. Frankl introduced a unique approach to therapy called logotherapy. It's all about helping people deal with common struggles like fear and anxiety. But it's not just about managing these feelings. It's about understanding the purpose of our existence and our quest to find that purpose. One of the main ideas in logotherapy is something called anticipatory anxiety. This is when someone is always worried about what might happen in the future. It can lead to a state known as hyperintention, where the person is constantly on edge about potential future events. There's also something called hyperattention, where someone focuses too much on a specific condition, which can actually make the symptoms worse. So, how does logotherapy help with these issues? It uses a technique called paradoxical intention. This means that patients are encouraged to face their fears directly by purposely thinking about what they're afraid of. For example, if someone is scared of sweating in public, they're encouraged to think, "I hope I sweat even more this time." It might sound strange, but the idea is to change how the person views their fear. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, they see it as a challenge to overcome. Logotherapy also looks at how a person's age can affect their neurosis. It suggests that for many people, neurosis is a form of nihilism. This is the belief that humans are nothing more than the result of their biology, psychology, and social conditions, or their genes and environment. This feeling of being nothing is similar to the existential vacuum that Frankl talks about. But logotherapy doesn't agree with this nihilistic view. It says that while humans are indeed limited beings, we're not just products of our environment. We're active participants who have the power to shape our own lives and decide what our environment makes of us. This empowering view is what makes logotherapy so effective in helping people overcome their daily struggles. Point 6. Being optimistic can help us understand and cope with seemingly pointless suffering. Viktor E. Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, shares a powerful concept in his work, tragic optimism. This isn't your everyday, rose-colored glasses kind of optimism. It's a deeper, more profound kind of hope that acknowledges life's pain and suffering, yet still finds a way to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Frankl's experiences in Nazi concentration camps serve as a backdrop for this idea. He noticed that those who could find a reason to keep going, a purpose in their pain, were more likely to survive. This purpose could be as simple as a loved one waiting for them, a project they wanted to finish, or a belief in something greater than themselves. In Frankl's therapeutic approach, known as logotherapy, tragic optimism is a way to turn suffering into a triumph of the human spirit. This doesn't mean making suffering out to be something beautiful or romantic. Instead, it's about understanding that how we respond to suffering can lead to personal growth and even transcendence. For example, Someone who's been through a traumatic event might use their experience to help others in similar situations, giving their pain a purpose and meaning. Tragic optimism also involves using guilt as a tool for self-improvement. Guilt isn't seen as a bad thing to be avoided, but as a sign that we've done something against our values and need to make things right. By facing our guilt head-on, we can learn from our mistakes and strive to be better. Another aspect of tragic optimism is the motivation that comes from knowing life is fleeting. The realization that our time is limited can push us to live more fully, authentically, and to find meaning in every moment. But Frankl makes it clear that tragic optimism can't be forced. It needs a genuine reason to feel hopeful, which can only come from within. A logotherapist's job is to help individuals find this reason, filling the emptiness in their soul with a sense of purpose and meaning. In a nutshell, tragic optimism, as shared by Viktor E. Frankl, is a powerful tool to help us get through life's darkest moments. By finding meaning in our pain, facing our guilt, and embracing the fleeting nature of life, we can cultivate a sense of hope and resilience that can carry us through even the toughest times. Point 7. Conclusion. Life is a quest for meaning, and this meaning can be found in every moment of living, even in the face of suffering and death. It is not the pursuit of pleasure or power that gives life significance, but the ability to find a purpose in life and to strive towards it. The essence of existence is not about what we expect from life, but rather what life expects from us. We are challenged to take responsibility, to act and to change ourselves. Our attitude towards unavoidable suffering is a key factor in finding meaning in life. In the midst of extreme conditions, one can still choose one's attitude, one's own way, and retain a vestige of spiritual freedom. This freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances is what defines us as human beings. Remember, it is not the circumstances that define us, but our response to them. We can find meaning in life in 3 different ways: by creating a work or doing a deed, by experiencing something or encountering someone, and by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. In the end, life is worth living, even in the darkest of times, if we can find the meaning in it.